Alright guys, well, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, welcome. Welcome everybody to this work session tonight. Go ahead and get this thing started. Shannon, will you start us off the word first?
Oh, yeah. Dear Heavenly Father, once again we come to you with our heads and our hearts saying thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to get together to do your will, dear Lord. As we progress this city, just allow it to be in your name as we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hey Shannon, Councilman Cardin will not be with us. He's got a call about an hour ago. He's under the weather, so y'all remember him. First thing I'd like to do, Karen, you want to go over what you got, or do you have?
No, I'll actually be presenting September's
Okay.
at the next meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll do November's and we'll be caught up for December because we're still getting in receivables from September right now that we have to offset and adjust, so.
Okay, great. All right. Well, good deal. Well, with that being said, we have Rico Kelly of RTK Community Learning Center to update us on the program that they're running. So go ahead.
Let me give you the handouts here. I didn't know if the clerk was gonna pass them out, so I was just gonna get for one. Yeah, making sure.
Can you pass those two on down, please?
I don't know if anyone has ever heard of this project. It is through the White House. It's called the Promise Zone Initiative. And pretty much what that is if we're selected, let me tell you a little bit about us. We're a nonprofit organization, and I work with outreach development to try to go out and inform different cities and municipalities of the funding through the federal government. Most of everybody, they have like a coordinator or grant person on their team here in the facility. They normally apply for block grants or what have you, but a lot of them don't realize like the federal government resources and funding that we have available to us. So what I did was I reached out to different cities, City of Alexander City, City of Goodwater, City of Talladega, City of Oxford, to include a mapping tool. I used a mapping tool to include the different poverty rates and population to qualify you guys for funding from the federal government. And this is called the Promise Zone Initiative, and what it is you will be able to have access. The advantage of it would you will have priority over any other cities and anybody else that's trying to compete for the same resources for a 10-year time frame. It's really good. The goals of the Promise Zone is fighting crime, infrastructure, revitalization, and educational opportunities, and private investment. So like any type of projects that you feel that fit within those project goals will qualify for any of the funding or resources to be used through the federal government. And I think it's a really good project because I went ahead and allocated myself to be the project coordinator as well as the grant writer for the project, and I've also done the letter of intent. I attended all 3 webinars through the federal government to get information, resources, and whatnot on the program because it's pretty extensive. So we had to attend 3 webinars and also 1 for the mapping tool to actually learn how to use that. And we had to receive a token once we did the letter of intent, receive a token to actually apply, to actually get the application to be able to apply for the resources and funding. So what I need from the city of Sylacauga is just a letter of support. Really, it's for you. The funding, the resources is for you. If selected, which we would know by February, I think, we would know if we get the resources, the 10-year project to do revitalization, projects on fighting crime, education, as long as it's within those project goals there. You have here, a sheet here, and attached to that, it has the Promise Zone goals. As long as your projects fall within these categories, within this area, you qualify to be able to use the money or funding and resources. Again, it's resources, grants, loans, what have you. I got a question from the last meeting. Is there a limit? No. There's no maximum. Whatever resources they have available, and it could change, but they already have assigned us opportunities that we have for fiscal year 2014. Is that attached?
What are you looking for?
Yeah.
The benefits?
Yeah, the benefits, yeah, the Promise Zone benefits. So these are just some of the areas that you will be able to gather funding from the different committees. And like I said, it will be a partnership with the federal government. And the money would be sent to, would be used to spend for projects that the city of the city of Sylacauga have a need for in your zone, in your areas. What are the most important projects that you want to use the resources for? And like I said, have to align with those goals. You also have in your folder a map attached with the city of Sylacauga that shows the different areas that we've selected for the project. That includes Sylacauga. And what I want the city council members to do is like to prioritize on that first sheet there, attached with the map, which goals are most important to the city right now. And if you are gonna be supportive and committed of the project, what goals would you like to accomplish for the city? And if you could like write those on there, on the back or whatever, somewhere on that form, and the clerk could fax them to me. She has my contact information, email, fax, and everything, and she can get that back to me. The project deadline is November the 21st.
So you would need your letter of support by then?
Yeah, I would need a letter of support before the 21st because it has to be submitted electronically on the government website that they've given me the link to submit the project. I would have to have it before I would say by the 15th. Any information, any project narrative that you would want, like I said, if you could type it in Word or you could just write it and fax it, I could type it. I just want to know specifics, what you want to do with the resources and the grants. No matching requirements. And the only reason we qualify is because of the combined poverty rate. Like if you were to try to get it alone just for city of Sylacauga, you couldn't get it because the poverty rate is not what it needs to be qualified to meet the eligibility criteria for it. And the population, no.
Now, is it a loan or is it a grant?
Grant.
Okay, it's a grant.
Yes, but you have options to get loans, grants, any other assistance that you might have to like do any planning initiative or whatnot. All of that is from the federal government.
Okay.
So within those different government agencies like HUD, U.S. Department of Justice, U.S. Department of Agriculture, whatnot, all the different agencies, they will allocate the funding, the grants, and the resources to us to do the projects that we want to do for the city, as long as it falls in line with those goals. And like I said, that's why it's called a promise zone, because the government is saying, okay, you can't touch, if we're selected, they can't deny us anything, what we need to do the projects.
And that's why you combine the different counties to make the number. Okay.
To make the number and to get the poverty rate factor what it needs to be to qualify.
And you said there's no limit,
No.
or what kind of guidelines do we need to know what to ask for? I guess
Pretty much it's like those different agencies, like it might be 10, like if you go on grants.gov, it may be 10 grants, 20 grants, 30 grants for fiscal year that they have allocated for, let's say U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
Or U.S. HUD, okay? That money is there, okay? So long as our projects fall within, those goals, we don't have no, specific dollar limit or resource limits. You might have
Okay.
That's the benefit, I think, because you can't just say I'm just gonna do, let's say, run some water lines. I don't have water lines in these areas, and for safety and the citizens, or let's say the schools are in need of funding to, let's say, do after school programs or something like that for the remedial type students that need assistance. We don't have any funding to help them to do that. We don't have any funding to fight drugs. We just don't have any more money for that. We got police officers just doing basic things that they need to do, make sure everybody's be safe or whatever. We don't have any other money to fight other initiative type. So, or we don't have any money, let's say, for the youth to do job programs after school where they get paid.
So that's where the grants come in, and then y'all come in to provide money.
To do those projects that you normally wouldn't have funding or resources to do.
Do you know Margaret Morton at St. Sylacauga Alliance for Family and
I've heard of that organization,
What I was
but
thinking.
I've heard of that,
And
but
a lot of the things that you're talking about, I mean, we have programs of that type, so maybe
right, but
we could get with them and kind of see.
this is just totally separate.
Okay.
I mean, I'm quite sure they have their own projects and everything that they got going with their resources that they need to do. But this is just like for your city. Let's say you come together, you have your city council meetings. We might have some, you might sit down and do a brainstorming session and say, these are certain projects we feel as city councilmen in our area that we think, because you get different people come in, you have different work sessions and everything. You know what your budget has for different constraints, different things that you want to do. So you know more about the city and what the city needs, I would think, than anybody really. Because you're working with different organizations anyway, but the money would be for the city because we would form a board. Okay, what it would work is once the funding or resources, we get allocated as a promo zone, we would form a board, and we're gonna also have a liaison from the federal government that's gonna work with us. That's great too, because we don't have to worry about making phone calls or whatever, and a liaison from the federal government will be assigned to us in that promise if we're selected as a promo zone. We will form a board, and that board, each from each city would be a member of that board to make sure that those city projects, initiatives get completed with the resources and funding that's granted.
We were just awarded a grant, but we had to come up with some money to go toward.
That doesn't have anything to
I
do.
know.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to do is tear down a school that's been there for way too long. It's a really big safety hazard.
Okay.
Safety concerns really hazard. The money that's gonna cost us to do that, as well as what it was gonna cost us to rebuild some sort of monument or park or whatever we can do there. Because it's a
Would
historic.
the park be
it's almost a
culture
historical-
related
yeah,
or like
yeah.
museum? Yeah, I mean,
Would that help? Could that, even though some of that would be reimbursement toward what we pay toward the grant, would that be able to help us there too?
yeah, as long as it's within those promo zone goals that's in your handout.
Okay.
As long as whatever projects that you're saying that you want to use the resources for, as long as it relate to those goals, that's right there. Revitalization, what's the handout? This handout actually came from, yeah, the handout right there. The handout actually came from the webinar, from the federal government
Yeah.
webinar. Yes, so as long as you're, the goals. Yeah, here we go. Did y'all not get a copy of this? Maybe I should write that down.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, so, yeah, as long as it aligns with job creation, increased economic activity, improve educational opportunities, leverage private investment, reduce violent crime. And it is also a link on the letter from Obama. It's a link there that you can go to and, see all the information about it. I think it's HUD at
.gov/promozones.
promozones.gov.
Have you got a card with you?
No,
Some
I just
contact
gave,
information?
yeah, I gave it to the city clerk. She has it, but you can, I can email you the link as well. I send her everything.
Not just a link, I just wanted to, I'm
Okay.
gonna have some questions that
Okay,
I
sure.
wasn't prepared to ask right now. Can
Okay,
you
sure.
give me your email address?
What is it?
It's RTKCOMM, learn like you learn in school, @att.net. Best contact is my cell, because I have it all the time, because I'm out different meetings, is 256-794-0397.
Your name?
Rico Kelly, RICOKELLY.
Like it sounds.
And like it's on the agenda.
Yep. Yeah, she, except the
Look at
clerk asked me to give all the information. I thought maybe I didn't know if she had put it on the agenda because I didn't see the agenda, but,
So this
Yes.
letter is just for us to become designated for the area, and then we would collaboratively.
right, because we're submitting the
collaboratively
grant,
agreement?
we're submitting the proposal, the actual narrative and everything. We have an architect, Bondurant Architecture from Birmingham, that's working with us on the feasibility and also the cost structure. So like any projects that you need, that you want to specifically be in the narrative, in the proposal, which is important, I want to try to get that as soon as possible.
And we're gonna have to nail something down to get something.
You gotta decide what you want to do.
But initially, all you need from the city is just a letter of support.
Right, to go on with it, writing the narrative, getting everything together. We have a 35-page appendix that we can attach documents, pictures, Excel worksheets, Word worksheet, we have 35-page limit, not excluding the narrative page limit, which is 25. So what I could do is like for City of Sylacauga, I can combine the pictures of the projects you want along with your narrative part for your section.
Okay.
In your
And your
training,
cost
have any
structure.
of the goals been given priority? I mean, should we really, is infrastructure higher than maybe economic development? I mean,
Whatever you want, what's priority to you?
Okay, that's what we need to do is figure that out.
What's
Okay.
priorities, because I don't know your priorities for city. Let's say fighting crime may be one for one city. Priority for your city might be revitalization. Good water, they say revitalization, they want the whole downtown, they just want to focus on downtown sidewalks. They don't have sidewalks, lights, street lights, because you guys have that. So their priority is that,
Well, here-
revitalization.
Here's what I think, Ms. Kelly, I think that all of us, I think I speak for all of us when we say there's some research that we want to do on this. Obviously, this is the first time we're seeing this. So.
Right.
Do some research on this.
And I could give you the question and answer, I'll give you my copy. If you can just make sure that everybody else gets a
I
copy
can
of
do
that.
that, that's fine.
And those are frequently asked questions that a lot of the different people have on it, and so you can,
Okay.
that'll answer a lot of your questions.
All right, well, good deal.
And did I get, you also had a copy of this, right? Because this is like the different,
We don't have
We don't have
that.
you don't have a copy of this, so take my copy.
Okay.
She left that out, because she,
All right.
so that right there has the opportunities that, through the different agency, different programs, just a sample of different programs that has the funding and grants that you need to do what type of projects you're gonna do.
Okay. Guys, do we want Miss Kelly to come back in a couple of weeks, or?
Absolutely.
Well, we're gonna need to do something because she needs that letter of
I got-
support before our next meeting.
When is your next, meeting?
Be the 7th, well, the actual meeting would be on the 18th.
No,
Well,
we're gonna have to
moving it back.
reschedule it because
Move it
they're
back.
gonna be in Austin.
That's
And the
right.
next Tuesday is court, so
Um,
we have to figure out when.
yeah.
Maybe like 2 major projects?
Well,
Because like you said, you
well,
just
now-
got a grant for what?
But now, this letter of support's not something that would require council action.
No, you're just saying
So, I
that you
mean,
wanna
we
be,
could-
you
we could do our
wanna be
research
selected
and
to
just-
be in the promise zone.
we
You
could
wanna
just-
be a promise zone.
You know, we could communicate via email if it's something that we want to do, if you want to put your name on a letter of support or not. It's not something that would have to be done in a formal meeting.
And I have a sample letter of support, and you can modify that. I can email that to you.
That would be
Yeah,
be
that'd be
A
great.
dummy letter, for,
Yeah,
yeah, and
let's do
that's what,
that.
that's what Alex City did, that's what, Oxford did.
A dummy letter would be great for us.
Okay, so I have one already.
The dummy
And you can
letter.
just, what you could wanna do within that, maybe don't be very detailed in the letter of support, cause the detail is gonna be in the narrative, but kinda touch, if you wanna touch culture with your museum, something like that to develop culture, diversity, bring up multiculturalism back.
Okay. All right. Well, let's let us do some research on this. I would say you would probably need this. So by next Friday, the 14th, you would need this letter of support.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
If-
any narrative and any project information, cause I
Okay.
gotta put it in the
All right.
application.
So if you could get us that draft,
I can get that to you when I get back tonight.
okay, that'd be great. Just send it to
Email
the
it to Trish.
yeah, just send it to the city clerk and.
I have her email.
Well, how long is she gonna be out?
Till Monday.
You want me to send it to you?
Can you can send it to me?
Yes.
But I'd also like for you to copy Kim, if that's okay, Kim.
She
That's
may
fine.
have my email.
Do you have Kim's email address?
Do I have yours, Kim? I think.
You're the, you've been talking to me.
Yes, yeah.
I'll write
Yeah,
it down
so
for you.
email it.
And I could copy you on it and you just
That's
forward it to
fine.
the other members of the council.
There you go.
Well, thank y'all so much for having me.
Okay, thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
All right,
We
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
You didn't look a thing like Santa Claus, but we were mistaken.
Thank you. Y'all have a great evening.
All right. Chief Carden, discussion of body cameras. Let me kind of preface what Chris is going to say here. There, as we all are aware, there have been some issues in cities throughout the country, and I won't bring up any particular city, but there have been issues, issues that, quite frankly, could happen in Sylacauga. I mean, could happen in Sylacauga, could happen in Childersburg, could happen, it doesn't have to be, a suburb of a huge city for this to happen, for these issues to happen. So, with that being said, these body cameras are a big deal. They give you a lot of leverage. They give the police department and the city a lot of leverage when and if those problems do arise. So this is something that I wanted to I wanted Chris to come and talk to us about. I think it's of utter importance. So Chris,
While
go
you're
ahead.
thinking about it, we did put them in the budget.
Right.
So they're in the budget for the new budget, so.
Okay, you hear from me?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so, Rocky was obviously referring to, a situation, in another state, but I'd like to bring your attention to a couple of situations that have happened right here. Anniston PD, about 4 or 5 months ago, had a situation where there was a gentleman from his own phone called in a man with a gun, and he was actually that person. It was a suicide by cop situation. He called, and then he waited for the police officers, then he pointed the gun at the police officers. Both officers wearing body cameras. The whole thing was on video. They brought the family in and showed them the video. Said, here's what happened. Sylacauga City PD, this time, I guess it was last fall, we had a situation with a car chase that ultimately ended in Sylacauga, and, body camera. There's stories, success stories like that all across the country. And generally when you have a big incident in law enforcement, everybody says, well, we got to get the new best thing. But, they did a study in Rialto, California, and they did a 12-month, controlled study where they put half the department in body cameras, the other half didn't have them. In a 12-month time, they reduced their citizen complaints by 85%. They reduced their use of force incidents by 59%. Now, the biggest reason is there's some studies, and I have the entire Rialto study here. I didn't copy you guys on that whole thing because it's really boring. But humans become more self-conscious, when they're being launched. And there's a lot of research that shows that having the body cameras actually reduces the conflict. Okay? It protects people on both sides. It protects the city's liability and it protects the police officer, but it also protects the community. It helps us take a look at our hiring practices, at our training practices. In order to do this in such a way where, the mayor was very specific about doing it in such a way where, we're not going above and beyond and spending a bunch of money that we don't need to spend. So we've done some research, we've done some field tests, we've sent off for some body cameras, and we've put them on the police officers and let them wear them. And looked at the video quality, and we've studied and seen what other police departments are using. And our recommendation, and it's all in here, and these are yours to keep. But basically, Taser has what we call an Axon body camera. They're $399 a piece. There are 2 ways that you can use body cameras. You can download the data to an off-site hard drive, or you can use their cloud function. Now, cloud storage is basically where the world is headed. With iTunes, now you can access all your music from any device. And this cloud storage, on the very last page of my report, is a cost. The cloud storage puts it up to about $21,000 annually for 26 body cameras and all the storage we need. That is that's the ideal way to do things. And the reason being is you have an off-site vendor that's handling your data. so you can never be accused of ever deleting anything. You follow what I'm saying? That's, you know, it's how much do you want to pay for that comfort? Alex, the top one that I'm suggesting that we start with is the 28 body cameras. There's 26 police officers in the patrol division, and that's 2 spares. $399 a piece. That's $11,172. Whether or not we can use our current server, I'm still working on, and the reason being is because it needs to be a controlled location, and in order to use the server, our MDR server, we would have to give a lot of access to that room. We put a lot of equipment in there. I'm not sure that that's going to be very feasible. What Alex City does is they buy a 3 terabyte server. It's $100 at Walmart. The supervisors download, and then they lock the server in a cabinet. The next sergeant comes in, takes it out, downloads the cameras. The oncoming sergeant downloads the offgoing body cameras. The body cameras stay at the police department. Okay, 1 body camera per officer. We download, you know, every day. And then we categorize that information by officer, by date. And then when we have a complaint, we have a situation, we have something we need to review, we just come in, pull it up, and boom, it's right there.
So if we do get the body cameras, when would they come on? When the officers
Well, that's a
come
policy issue, and I've gotten some sample policies from the FBI has a policy center that the city's a member of, and I've already begun looking at some of those body-worn camera policies. Basically, the majority of municipalities have a policy that says anytime that you come in contact with the public on a call for service or a need for service, like an officer initiated, like a traffic stop, or if you get called somewhere, or you know, if you're just out eating lunch in McDonald's and all of a sudden something starts happening. You know, they're easy to turn on, they're worn right on center of chest, and that'll all be handled by us.
So the video will have an account with the report.
Say that again?
For every report, the video, it will be a video for that report.
Well, you know, if it's a simple, somebody stole my bicycle police report, may or may not.
Okay.
But anytime there's any contact with the police that could, you know, turn into law enforcement action, then obviously we would be recording it. That would include any traffic stop, that would include any Terry stop, any stop and frisk, any pat down,
That was my question.
any car searches, any crowd situations, any call for service where law enforcement action may be, you know, required. You know, the kid that comes down to, you know, get his fingerprints for the Boy Scout merit badge, that may not be recorded.
Are they date and time stamped?
They are date and time stamped.
So what happens if you have to be reviewing it someday and it cuts and picks up at a different time where it was cut off?
Well, the technology is in place where they can't manipulate that from the body camera. So that's the only thing that could happen is a file could be missing from the hard drive. But the policy is in place, and you know, for those of you that don't know, we also have a camera now on our gun safe in our server room. All that is monitored all the time. The body cameras also have what we call a buffer recording, and what that means is let's say the officer's at McDonald's eating supper and something starts, and when he reaches up and turns on his camera, the camera actually records all the time, and when you activate it, it backs up 2 minutes and gives you the 2 minutes before the incident. You know, so let's say that the officer says, well, you know, she said this, and she says, well, the officer said this. Well, that's easy to fix because we have the 2 minutes prior to that, and we have that technology in place now with our car systems as well.
And explain it. Wasn't there something with the car systems software updates that were going to have to be done?
Yeah, we did that. You know, this past year, it was very expensive. We had to renew our licenses, and we had to buy a server because the old server was antiquated and full. And you know, MVR mobile video recording is just so expensive. It's just through the roof. And we got all those updates done, and we're functioning fine with our car cameras now. But you know, those car cameras are $5,000 a piece,
Right.
and that's the state bid price. You know, so obviously we won't be moving away from car video because you know we need to be able to record our driving as well. You know, in municipal litigation, it's going to be emergency vehicle operation and use of force. Those are your two. So we got the in-car video to cover our driving. We got the body cameras to protect the police officers on the use of force. And if we can drop our civilian complaints by 85%, then we probably have one a year. If we can drop our use of force by 59%, we have like 0.05 a year. So, you know, we need this. In addition, back in May, I had my audit with AMIC. You know, they come in and they sit down with me, the law enforcement risk manager, you know, and they gave me a recommendation that we get them. That's our insurance company. Now, this is, you know, there's other cities already in Talladega County that are making this move. And, you know, it's the public's money, and I understand it's expensive.
Is that gonna reduce our premium any?
I can't answer that question. I wouldn't imagine.
So when they recommended it, they didn't say,
They do not. Well, he's a risk manager. He doesn't have anything to do. He doesn't have anything to do with that. You know.
Todd?
Yeah, it's not Todd. Roger
Protecting
Owens.
future increases.
Roger Owens is the law enforcement risk manager.
So, Mayor, which amount do you have in the budget?
The 11,000.
The 11,000?
Yes.
And Chris, you think that's where we need to start now, or do you think we need to go straight to the cloud? Or
Well,
what?
I mean, the cloud is the Cadillac. But it would be my recommendation that we do what Ellick City's doing for a year. And
Okay.
that's, Ellick City had that officer involved shooting 2 or 3 months ago at the Huddle House. Do y'all remember that? We're in the system, downloading it the same way that I'm recommending, everything exactly just like that I'm recommending that we do. And that was a grand jury, no bill almost immediately. Now, understand, body cameras don't protect us from civil litigation, but it will help.
So that's with the cloud.
That's without the cloud.
Without.
Isn't it for the servers?
Yeah, the money's in it for the service. The total is $11,272. That's 28 cameras, a 3 terabyte server. And, next year we would want to obviously buy some more cameras. We want to try to have enough cameras for all of our sworn people.
Yeah.
We don't have to do that now. There's 26 people assigned to patrol. This will give us 26 cameras with 2 spares.
Okay. So obviously, if this is working in the budget, we would need to wait for the budget to be passed, I would assume, guys, wouldn't you say? I mean, so, I predict we'll have the budget, I'm confident that we'll have the budget ready to go by our next council meeting, not Wednesday, of course, but 2 weeks from tomorrow night. So I'd really like to see these body cameras go a week or 2 weeks from tomorrow night. Well, whenever our next council meeting is. Like I said, I know the date's gonna be changed to the trip.
How long from the time it's approved until everything's up and running if we go with this?
Shipping and delivery and then getting set up, I'd say probably 30 days. There's a lot of information in this report. A lot of time was spent putting this together for you guys, so take the time to read it, familiarize yourselves with it, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me, or you can give me a call, or whatever. I'll be glad to sit down with you and go over it with you. If you'd like to see a demonstration, the mayor and I went to Elk City, I guess back at the beginning of the summer, and looked at their body camera program. And they're doing it exactly the way I'm recommending.
Okay.
Did Childersburg just buy these, or they?
They just got approval by their council to buy them. I don't know how many. Childersburg doesn't have to buy near the amount that we do. Talladega they're going the cloud route from the get-go. So
Okay.
we'll be able to, and Chief Busby and I from Talladega, we've become pretty good buddies, so.
And the 11,000 includes the server, is that correct?
Yeah, the server is $100.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, 3 terabyte server from Walmart's $100.
Yeah. That's a lot of video.
Yeah, it's a year's worth.
Yeah, 3 terabyte will get you a lot of video.
Yeah. And we'll be retaining these videos for 3 years.
All right.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, Chris, while we got you here, the the application for restaurant retail liquor license, we got your letter. So, that's for El Vaqueros on Fort Williams. Good to go there, I guess.
Good to go.
Good to go. Okay. All right, Chief. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Guys, I really like, whenever our next council meeting is, whatever we decide on, I'd really like for that. And I would really like to have, one, I'd like to have the budget line. Two, I'd really like for those to be, those to go, because I think that's something that we need. It can save our rear ends, for sure. So, all right, we're gonna move on. I've got James Sharbert here, and some of his folks. They're out there. They're going to discuss some improvements to the Babe Ruth field. So, I'm gonna get them. Does I guess everybody knows James Sharbert by now.
How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you.
Joe?
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, James is here to discuss some improvements to the Babe Ruth field. James came by my office on Friday, and we looked at these plans. And if this comes to fruition, it's going to be really nice. And basically, what the Babe Ruth Association needs from us, since it is a city-owned field, would obviously be approval to make these improvements. So James, from there, I'll kind of let you take it away, bud.
Okay. That, we already got the backstop tore down. And we're gonna put poles straight up to make our net just straight. We have 3 blocks high, just like this practice field, whatever you call it over here at high school. And we got everything on drawings telling you. Where's my metal works? Greg, come here. This here's, it's all printed out. You wanna tell them what all this is?
Yeah, I mean, basically, what they're gonna do, they're gonna have a 24-inch block wall, 8 inches wide, 24 inches tall, around where the pipe's gonna be. I mean, the dimensions. We're gonna have a pole sitting right in this area right here. No, right here, I'm sorry. And this is gonna be a 24-inch block wall. And we're gonna be putting them in the ground about 7 foot, and then pouring them with concrete, having rebar around them and all that. And then our netting's gonna be hanging off of the piping.
We had the metal overhang with the net. It had net pulled back to it. So when the balls went up, they come down, hit, and the net would tear holes. And for our poles, and these people volunteered to help us do this, so we just took it on ourselves. So when we went to take these poles out of the ground, they was already right. I mean, all you had to do was just grab it. So that was a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
What we want to do is ask y'all permission to put this wall up in left center field for our fundraiser. We're not asking y'all for no money. We're trying to help us. It'll help us make money.
Yeah, there it is right there. It's gonna be right beside the scoreboard. The scoreboard and the foul. And that's the sign or about 60 foot, isn't it?
60 by 40.
60 by 40.
Okay.
Sylacauga's got a wall in their left field.
Yeah. But now, James, what I understand, the wall would actually not be a part of the fence, it'd be on the other side of the fence, right?
Outside the fence.
Like Childersburg is the fence.
Can
It-
The
homer has to
yeah,
clear it.
Childersburg, I mean,
And the home
so
run
if it
has
hits
to
that
clear it.
wall, it's a home run.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
if it hits this wall, it's home.
yeah,
We're not trying to stop nobody from getting
yeah,
home.
chicks dig along, so,
But, and all this,
That would be un-American.
that's right.
okay, all this here will be windscreen. And that's what we're gonna try to do is get people to buy these, instead of signs, it'll be windscreen. But that'll be screen printed on the windscreen.
Except for that space in left center for the sign itself.
That'll be hanging up over the outside of the
Now,
fence.
see that one again?
That's what we really want the permission from y'all is, I don't think y'all got no problem with the windscreen on the fence.
So just to kind of make it clear, so you're not actually asking us for any funding,
Nothing.
you're just asking us for permission.
And to change the name, I assume, too, right?
That would, we could go about that now, or we can wait till a later date, but, since we already brought it up.
Well, no, before anybody did anything with that expectation, I'd rather them know ahead of time if that's okay or not first. Because I'd hate for somebody to put all their money into it with the
Yeah.
anticipation of advertising, and then they say, well, I don't like that idea. So I'd rather get that out of the way
Okay.
first.
Okay. What's the question?
Just,
How
I
do
was
you
just
go
bringing
about
up one, that they
renaming
probably
the
want to
field?
rename the field, change it.
How would somebody go about doing that? We don't know.
Well, I mean,
That's what we told them too.
yeah,
We don't know.
yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, that would,
to change the name of the field.
From Walton Cruz
It's
to.
Walton Cruz, okay, my personal opinion, if it counts, I've been there 14 years. I don't wanna get rid of Walton Cruz. Somebody put his name on there for a reason. Now, we can add a name to it.
You know the history of Walton Cruz, Tom?
What now?
Do you know the history?
He was a professional baseball player. He was our first professional baseball player. It's been any significant
Back in
time.
the thirties, I believe.
Now, one of the things, there are, people who name the park one thing and the field another.
Okay.
If you wanna keep it Walton Cruz Field, make it MW
Well,
Industries.
that's what it says on
Park.
that sign right there. It says, welcome to MW Park at, or welcome to MW Field at Noble Park,
Industrial
something
Service
similar to that.
Field at Noble Park, yeah.
But it's really not Noble Park, it's
Walton Cruz.
Walton Cruz.
So you name the park one name and the field another name.
Walton Cruz Park, MW Industries Field, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I met some,
They did the same thing at, Jordan Hare and, what do they call that one?
Pat Highfield.
Brian Denny.
Right, Denny.
Tallahassee too.
I met,
The field itself has a different name than the whole facility.
Right.
Which one you want?
Yeah.
they be left up to the.
Park or the field?
What? Let me ask
I
this.
slept up to y'all.
What is it? Is it
Left up to
Walton?
us.
Is it Walton Cruz Field now or Walton Cruz Park?
Field.
Let's not fix it if it ain't broken. Let's leave Walton Cruz Field and
MW Park,
use the other name for the park.
MW Services Park.
I mean, I think that's easy enough there.
Is that fine, would that be fine with MW Services?
That fine with you, Greg?
Fine with me.
All right.
If it's okay, we can just leave it like it is right now until we do discuss it with
And the
everybody
board.
that needs to.
Sure.
But with the understanding, everybody, I guess, is in agreement that changing the name is okay, right?
Okay, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, leave. I want to leave Walton Cruz in some capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, whether
Me
it's
too.
Walton Cruz Field or Walton Cruz Park. I want it one of. Yeah, I would like it one or the other.
Okay.
Now I don't have any preference on
Generally speaking, the park or stadium is bigger than the field. Name wise.
Yeah. Your your sponsor usually gets the park, Regents Park, you know, that type of thing. So, but like I said, I have no preference either way. That would be up to y'all, but I do want.
Since we're here, if we're getting, y'all got any money? No. See this? Got that answer right quick.
Do y'all? We need to borrow some. My next question, and I know, you know, and this is great. James, I appreciate you kind of heading this up. You know, anytime some improvements are done to city property that don't cost us anything, that's always nice. You have you had any discussions with Coach Gibbs, head baseball coach at the high school?
Yeah, man, grill.
Okay, all right, good deal, good deal.
Did they call you any special names?
Not while we're there.
Did they seem to be on board? I mean,
He's been hollering for the same thing.
okay. All right, that's what I figured the answer would be.
So
So
we gotta get that, if you've been down there, we gotta get that net out of it.
yeah, it's
Line
bad.
catchers,
Yeah, and umpires.
irrelevant.
Actually, it was kind of dangerous the way it was.
Yeah,
When I was taking it down, it was actually falling off in my hands. I didn't even have to do nothing to
yeah.
take it
Now you
down.
know.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that a bit.
You might
So,
be on. They come by.
So with that being said, guys, I mean, are we okay with putting it on the agenda to let them make the improvements to the field?
And the decision for the name,
That's fine. I mean, I don't have a
at
problem
an
with that.
appropriate time.
You know, as long as Walton Cruz is left in there, somewhere. So,
I think we're done celebrating that.
okay. Everybody okay with that? Putting it on there for Wednesday morning?
And I'd like to say, you know, I hadn't even met this guy here. I think I've talked to your dad.
No,
No,
No, it's not. Who have I talked to about this?
Jim Landers, my boss.
Your boss. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not Jim then.
he's the co-owner.
Okay, all right. But we appreciate what y'all are doing. I mean,
Yeah.
That means a tremendous amount, the improvements that y'all are making, so.
Yes. That's a big
And you do
deal.
good work,
So,
good work.
this will be on our agenda for Wednesday morning. We'll vote on it Wednesday morning. After
Okay.
that, we'll know the verdict. So,
Well,
If
I was
it's-
told the urgency for this was to have
Yeah.
we gotta get the pipe in, get it sandblasted, painted, then brought out and put up. That was the urgency.
yeah. 'Cause-
Because, time schedule, high school starts before we do, and we wanna try to have it done before they play.
yeah, that's right. I mean, baseball season, the actual
Yeah.
season starts middle of February.
That's
So,
Yeah.
so
We've got a deadline of January 1.
that would be
to
good.
through.
So they can get out there and practice and.
And as far as money, we're not asking for no funds, but what about a permit or whatever? Can we
Can we get a permit?
get a
waived?
permit during this or what?
Mayor, what do you think?
Well, that's come up several times, and we don't even waive our own permits. Cause we found out in the past, if we start that, we kinda get in trouble, so I'll be glad to talk to you about it, and, you know, maybe we can work something out, but generally, we have not waived permits.
We buy our own permits when we're doing all this renovation.
We buy permits when we're doing something just like anybody else.
Well, that's fine. We just wanted to know if we needed one. It being
Yeah.
it being
You'll
kind
need-
of all donations and volunteer work, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's gonna be a significant amount of money, but I'd say right now, yes, that we would need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have, I dealt with them on something, I forgot what it was, but there are some guidelines from the office next door that, you know, as far as permits or licensed contractors, which I know, you know, you guys are. You just might wanna ask them, make sure you got everything going in right order, just so you can keep them off of you.
If y'all will come in and let's sit down and talk about it,
Okay.
we'll get something worked out, see what we need to do.
When can we do that?
Anytime, tomorrow if you want to.
Okay. I'll just give you a call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comes in at 10, leaves at 2.
What time?
But I take 2 hours for lunch during that time.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate y'all being here, and like I said, thanks for everything you're doing or have done and are going to
We're
do.
proud to do it.
Yeah, well, it's
That means a lot
gonna
to
be
us.
great.
Y'all are-
That's gonna be
y'all
great. I'm
really
looking
coming
forward to,
across there.
looking forward to seeing the finished product, and y'all just get with the mayor, and see what y'all can get figured out on this permit, if
Okay.
anything.
Uh,
Okay.
Hey, I feel pretty confident saying they're not doing it just as a write-off or anything like that, because I play ball currently with Jim. He came up and played on my team last year in Birmingham, so.
Oh, he's a
He
baseball
loves,
fanatic.
he's a baseball nut, and he's doing as much for kids and the community, probably more so than putting their name on there.
Well, I mean, we just want somewhere nice for the kids. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. As do we. As do we. All right, gentlemen.
Thank
All right.
y'all.
Thank you so much.
Y'all just give me a call.
good.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
James, see you, buddy. Y'all come see us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Kim, if you'll get that put on the agenda for us for Wednesday morning. When?
You ready for me, huh?
Now
Man.
your time
Now,
starts.
yeah, hold on, let's see. It is
Start Wednesday time.
5:57, so we'll give you 6 o'clock.
Give me 3 minutes.
That's right. Now, guys, Wynn's here to talk to us tonight. If we go back into our not so distant memory and remember a little place by the name of Reef, there was a special master that included basically an engineer and a group of surveyors that was appointed by the court to come down and handle some things. Well, to this point, the special master and surveyors have not been compensated for the work that they did, and for some reason they want to be.
They've been
They've
compensated.
been compensated
half.
half.
I'm sorry.
And to preface that a little bit, we had filed suit against Reef because of what they were doing to our people. And when it was assigned to a court, then that's when the judge appointed the special master. And
Yeah,
and
and
Reef was to pay her.
right.
So-
And I was thinking that it might be good to have it on the agenda for Wednesday, but I think the next council meeting, because you all will need to look at some of this stuff, and I've
Okay.
got a little bit more information to gather on what goes into her bill. You know, obviously, I can see the numbers, but I don't have the actual breakdown of hours or however she charged when she came up with this bill. Well, she'll be happy to provide it. But as Rocky and Doug said, back May of 2009 is when this lawsuit was filed. And of course, I wasn't the city attorney at that time, and I've had to talk to the people that were involved at that time to even know what the special master thing was about. And basically what happened is before Reef filed a bankruptcy, which of course, as we all know, means that the special master and the surveyor that worked for her can no longer collect any money from Reef because they're gone. The bankruptcy has done away with all of their obligations to pay anything. Before that happened, Reef decided, as I understand it, and this is just putting the pieces together the best I can, decided that they wanted a special master because their hope was that the special master would be able to exonerate them and say that they were doing everything and that they weren't treating hazardous waste, which is basically what their motion to have a special master appointed says. And in the motion, the only involvement I understand the city had was that the city knew this Ashley Cousins through some channels with the city, and they recommended that Ashley Cousins be appointed. And that's what the judge did, and ordered, obviously, as Rocky was indicating, somebody has she has to be paid, and the court is interested, of course, in the person that's appointed by the court being paid. Doug and Trish and I went to a hearing, I don't know, 6 months ago maybe,
Something like that, yeah.
where the judge called us in to basically indicate that she needed to be paid. You know, and will you please try to negotiate a settlement with her? Well, based on input from Doug, I undertook to do that. And I have an offer from her that is less than what's owed. It's a little bit more than half. I'll be glad to give you the actual numbers, but what I want to do, as I said earlier, is see what they did, because I've never seen the report. Apparently it's a book, and it wasn't really in Reef's favor. And as I understand it, Reef basically, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, nothing was ever presented to the council that was serving at that time about paying Reef anything.
Nor the special master.
The
I mean,
special
we're
master is what I meant to say. Yeah.
We never committed to pay anything.
Any part of that. So, but there is a judge's order which indicates that Reef was initially the one that was to pay it. My feeling from that hearing is that we're going to be ordered to pay something, so it's better to negotiate and try to come to a settlement, in my view. And that's what I've attempted to do. And here the numbers. If you can I meant to bring a copy for everybody, but Tom, if you just let everybody see what the actual amount. The Reef had paid basically half of it before they filed their bankruptcy. And these people got a little bit more money out of their bankruptcy. There wasn't much to distribute in the bankruptcy case. So what I would like to do is for you all, here's some more copies of it, to look at the numbers and.
How much is that, 1,700?
We've got it.
Okay. Would be look at those numbers, and the lowest that she has agreed to take, which would be for the surveyor, who is the Speaks, Larry Speaks, and for her company is $13,600, which is the total. I had something showing the total of what the bill would be otherwise.
$20,778.some.
So, with you all's permission, I will continue to negotiate. I don't think I'm gonna get any lower than that, but if I think that the bill, and I have no reason to think that she didn't do the work and can prove every penny that she says is owed, in which case she would be due to be paid. The judge is gonna order that we pay part of it. So,
And who are the other parties to the suit? Is this strictly the city of Sylacauga?
City of
and Reef?
Sylacauga versus Reef, yes.
And to add a little bit to that, in this meeting that we went, or this hearing that we went to with the judge, you know, we've got options here. We can just refuse to do anything. We can just say, no, we're not gonna pay her anything. And then the judge is gonna make a ruling. Now, if he rules that we pay her something, then we can still appeal that. And then it'll go to Birmingham to that, what is that appeals court when that,
It'll be the 11th Circuit.
and, you know, they may say, no, you don't have to pay her anything, but now we're gonna have to pay attorneys and all that stuff if,
But they also might say you need to pay the whole thing.
that's right.
That's right.
So, you know, but I'm just throwing that out that we don't really have to do anything, because we didn't say that we were gonna do anything to start with, so.
And the
You know,
order
we
is
could just sit down
the order
and
is somewhat
dig our heels
vague.
in the ground and say, we're not gonna pay, so.
About the payment.
about the payment, what the city's responsibility was. And, but still, now that there's no way for the court to enforce the entire bill against Reef, he strongly suggested that we undertake to negotiate, and that she do the same, undertake to negotiate an amount that we can live with and that she can live with, so he doesn't have to make a ruling as to how much we pay to reimburse her for the, for the order, for the work that she did and for the work that the surveyor did. And she was allowed in that order. The order said that she could hire other experts. And I'm a little bit vague on whether anything was ever approved by the city. I don't think anything was ever approved even by the city's attorneys. Is what my understanding is.
This does say initially that
Initially.
Reef would be charged the cost, but it says later in that same thing, the parties, which is us and them, have a certain amount of time to object to the estimated cost, which insinuates that
Yeah, why would it
leaves that door open.
Why would it say the other party, which is the city, would have the right to object to it if he wasn't expecting the city to have to pay for part of it?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Wynn, but this 13,600, this 13,600, that is a counter from her, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we offered
We
her a
offered
lower amount,
lower, right.
and then she countered with
And
that.
she was up here, we were,
Yeah.
you know how those negotiations
Right.
go.
So what do you need us to do, Wynn? What do you?
I think I just want it on I don't want it considered Wednesday because I don't think I can have all of the information in my hands that would tell me whether she did the work that would qualify her to get paid that amount to start with. And if she is, I would just ask that I think it's a good offer.
Yeah.
Compared to what we could get hit with, but we don't need to make that decision.
So
until
Carry over to the next work
Yeah,
session.
so we don't really need to
We
do
have
anything
backing
Wednesday.
information and can make
I
a,
initially thought we could, but then I realized that I had not looked at her actual bill.
Okay.
Which
Line
the
items.
judge, I think, thinks it's fine, but
Okay.
that doesn't mean that we couldn't now object to something that's in there. But I don't see that happening. I mean, I assume she charged by the hour. I'll just have to find out what she did.
Okay.
And we did go ahead and take that amount, lower the budget. Went ahead and put that in there, so,
To negotiate the amount that she
yeah, that
offered, counter offer.
13,600, so.
Okay.
um,
So I'll just come to the work session get it on the agenda for the next work session.
Okay.
And present, the only thing I'm really gonna present is the bill itself, because you all need to see it. And
Okay.
see what goes in to make up the total.
All right.
And Wynn and I have talked, and I don't think there's much more wiggle room there as far as she's concerned.
No,
I think
not from
Wynn's
her
the same
emails.
way.
to me.
Well, I mean, if you take it to court and the judge rules to pay her 13,600, you're still gonna have a lot more than that in it.
Yep.
By the time you get
Right.
finished with court costs and attorney
Mhm.
fees, oh, they're so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And I can assure you that, and there would be no reason for the city to ever appeal it if you made him make a ruling, because you'd spend that much again on attorney fees. An appeal is very expensive.
Yeah, we could wind up spending $30 or $40 or $50,000 on this thing and still have to pay, so.
And she needs to be paid. I mean, it's just a question of negotiating and being sure that the amount that she's asked for is due to be paid. Right.
Okay. Well, thank you, Wynn.
Yes,
Just
sir.
let us know when you get ready, and we'll move
Okay.
forward.
I'm sure she'll give me that as soon as I ask her. I know that it's in the court file, but it'd be easier for me to get it from her.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. Let's move on up to the top. Of course, we heard from Chief Carden, and I actually have a letter here from the police department saying that we're good to go on the license, the liquor license for El Vaqueros Mexican Grill in Fort Williams. So that will be on the agenda for Wednesday. Move to new business. A resolution for the city to participate in the severe weather preparedness tax holiday. That's something we've done in the past. I would assume that we're going to continue to do that. Is everybody in agreement with that? Okay. So that'll be on the agenda for Wednesday. Proposal from Revenue Discovery Systems. This is what Mr. Yantz came and spoke at the last work session. Those are the next two items. Obviously, the first item is for the collection of delinquent business license, and the second is for the administration of the business license. Let me just, while I'm running my mouth, let me just start by saying Mr. Yount sent a list of municipalities in which RDS, Revenue Discovery Systems, does business. I've been on the phone with a few of those, and Joe, I think you have too, with a few of those municipalities. And I will have to say there were some mixed reviews. Some good, some bad. In my kind of research that I did, for some reason, a lot of the bad seemed to come from the industrial world. Things that were happening in the industrial world that you know, it seemed a lot more prevalent in industry than it did in maybe commercial. So personally, I'm not ready to. I don't think this is a good idea at this time. Now, that's just me, but I'm not comfortable with it at this time. So, any of you guys have any thoughts?
I've spoken with some people too, and their reviews were so thrilling that we just have to jump on this.
Joe, I know we've talked, and I know you've made some contacts.
I've talked to some local people who've had some dealings with the company. Not very favorable, but I also got some information today that Chillsburg had recently signed on with them. And in a short amount of time have collected about $30,000 or so that they wouldn't have had. I did not reach them yet. I tried this afternoon between 4:30 and 5 just to talk to their clerk to get a little more information, but I wasn't able to. Now I did do a lot of research on the internet. There's quite a bit that came from 3 cities in Arizona, which I actually printed all that stuff. And my concerns to Mr. Yantz when he was over here was, how do you find the dollars? You use your database, which basically all the cities you provide services for to help increase your database. But to me, it's a lot of blind arm twisting just to find out if somebody does owe you money. I could see where that could happen, and that was a lot of my concern when I asked him those questions. And he didn't satisfy me in what I was looking for. So I did do a lot of research, and there's quite a bit of, there's quite a few lawsuits, and there's quite a bit of almost harassment to just find out if someone actually owes you money. And a lot of their practices, which I was a little bit leery of because I could see how it could really be used, in an accusatory way until someone says, well, we don't, and then you have to somehow provide evidence that, you don't owe them. And I don't necessarily like that. He made it sound like in here it was just, if you say no, then you're okay. But that's not, there's a lot of misrepresentation on some of the research that I found. And it's like in anything, it may be great in a lot of areas and it may be bad in a lot of areas. I think it also sets the tone for our council's thinking if we decide to go to a third outside party, as opposed to trying to create another job description or change things around. There's also some concern if we let this outside party do it, are we going to cut a position within City Hall? Are we going to let someone go in spite of the hopes that we're going to generate more money? But I've heard from a lot of the community that just did not like where that was headed, considering we were going to outsource it to someone else. And, you know, that's our job. We have to represent their voice. And I've heard a lot of that, but in all my research, I found it hard to believe that everything is gonna be up and up based on what I've seen.
Yeah.
Some of it was pretty, a lot of it was vague. A lot of the contracts were vague, which gave them the right to do things their way, which did make it hard on the people that were assessing.
Mhm. Our city clerk's office here does an outstanding job. And I'm not just saying that because you're in the room. I mean, I have the decency to talk behind your back. I wouldn't talk about you in front of you, but, our city clerk's office does a great job here, and to me, and I know it would probably, there are some things that it would, you know, it could probably or possibly take some of the load off the city clerk's office. I get that. But like I said earlier, you know, I'm just kind of a, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's working. It works well.
Well, you can always improve, but in this case, I found where it didn't improve, it actually caused more.
I don't think they can do it better than we do it.
My biggest concern was not an attorney, and reading some of the language is difficult at best, but as part of a lawsuit that was filed in 2011 and is continuing with a number of motions, counter motions, but one of the motions includes their client municipalities as defendants. That concerns me. That we could possibly get caught up being a defendant in a lawsuit that has nothing to do with us.
Mm-hmm. And then all that money you saved.
And go to.
Well, we just
I like Wynn, but we keep him busy enough as it is.
We better clock that at 10 after.
We just ended the contract with JCS, who basically, this company's basically gonna do the same thing
yeah.
that they were gonna do.
Yeah.
And I don't like the backstory with where this has come from, and I've researched 3 or maybe 4 of their prior names in parent companies, and to me, it's not stable enough for us to buy into.
And at the same time, though, just being a little bit of the devil's advocate here, when you go after some people to pay money that they don't think they owe,
Yeah, it's not going to be a pleasant experience.
A pleasant and positive experience.
Yeah.
I get that, but there are enough red flags right now that I think that I would have a difficult time.
Well, what I found was for the people that they did find owed the city's money, there was twice as many probably that didn't, that had to go through the process to prove that they didn't, as opposed to just say, well, we don't owe you.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to put that burden on the industries or businesses that want to come deal with our city.
Yeah.
One of the things that he described is if they said, we don't owe you, that's sort of the end of it. And apparently that's not necessarily
I
been the
can tell
case.
you that's not been the case.
So
And the people that I've talked to.
And in our name.
Yeah.
I understand where you guys may have wanted it, but, you know, let's come up with an alternative plan, something we can do within the office. Maybe generate some more money for another employee or restructure something other than this, because this just didn't have a good backstory.
It did.
And like I said, they can't do what we do as good as we do it. So, and I understand about the workload. I'm with you.
Well, I mean, Kim's the expert on this, but I don't even think it was more about workload. It was just, we know we're
Resources.
missing some revenues. We know we are.
Mhm.
And that was a venue to get them.
Yeah, I hear you.
So,
Why don't
I mean,
y'all-
and
why
it may
don't-
actually increase workload because we're gonna have to get behind them and see what they've been doing, so.
Why
I
don't
mean, I
y'all
think
come
that's
up with
the
some
issue.
ideas that
Some other
we're
ideas.
missing
I
out
mean,
on?
this came from the clerk's office.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Y'all come to
a
us.
good idea. Don't get me wrong. And please don't get discouraged because it's,
No, it's just,
please continue to bring us ideas.
Come to us on what's missing and how you think we can
But
find
give
it.
us the ideas and let us research it.
And let
and
us
we'll
all
see.
come up with an idea to
Now,
maybe.
one of the things too that intrigued me about this idea was the ability to put a link on our website and handle a lot of the business license things online. And I think there would be some support for that, and that's one of the things that we need to step forward on because it
That's
makes
right.
things a lot easier on both sides of the equation.
And I think
Well,
we'll
the
be doing
first,
that too.
the first item, the delinquency, is similar to what the state of Alabama does for its own insurance companies. They have the database to find those insurance companies that don't pay us. And they collect 50% of the first year's premium and then submit the rest to us. And that's what Pete does for other businesses and all. He has the resources through other cities and sales tax information and all.
Can we make the suggestion that the state do the same thing in this rather than just the insurance companies? They have the same access to information, and it is the state.
It is, but I don't know if that's even available for business license or whatnot. That's the Uniform Business License Act that was enacted just a few years ago for the municipalities that ought to go under. So, you know, he just approached us. We've been around him for years and years and years. He does other cities, and he approached Trish and just came and presented it, so
Yeah.
that's why we
Yeah,
brought it onto the
I'm glad
council
that-
at that time.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, so, am I?
Just want it
am-
removed from the agenda then.
Yeah, I don't know that there's, I mean, I don't know that there's any need to reject the proposal
No, there's
formally.
not.
Okay,
There's not.
so
We
let's
just
just
off.
take it off,
Okay.
please. All right. Approved payment, October appropriations, at fiscal year 14 budget amounts until fiscal year 15 budget is adopted. That's just something we need to do to keep everybody's money flowing. Any questions? Okay. Recommendation from Ken Sis to return restitution for case, you see the number, in the amount of $95 to Home Depot. So we got that. Airport Authority for purchase orders to Haddon Electric for lighting repairs and Diversified Plumbing LLC for water leak repairs at the airport. Questions? Okay. All right. Let's think about this. Everybody get their calendars out. Reschedule second council meeting of this month due to the NLC convention. When are you guys leaving?
Sunday.
The 18th.
Sunday,
Tuesday,
Oh, that's on Tuesday.
Tuesday the 18th.
and they're coming back Sunday, the 23rd.
Would you guys be totally against having a short work session and a council meeting on the 17th? That Monday night? I mean, we got a regularly scheduled work session that night anyway, but we could do, you know, like we've done in the past, you know, a have-to work session, you know, get the have-tos on the agenda for the work session, and then adjourn immediately into a council meeting.
Sound good with me?
That's the Monday night on the 17th. We'll begin at, y'all wanna begin at 5 or y'all wanna start earlier?
What's early?
Uh,
4?
4 would be the earliest, probably.
Yeah.
What do y'all, I mean,
4's fine with me.
Tom?
That's fine.
Okay, so 4
4
o'clock
o'clock work session.
on the 17th, and then immediately, well, we need
Well,
a time.
She's gonna have to get the agenda ready, so you're gonna have to give her time, you know, if there's any additions at that work session to put on the agenda. I mean, we could have it ready, but if there are any additions
Right.
from the
Let
work
me,
session.
let me ask you, do we have to have, like, for instance, if we say work session starts at 4, can we just say immediately, a council meeting immediately following the work session? We don't have to have
Yes.
a 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock? Okay.
Yes,
Let's just do that.
okay.
And we'll twiddle our thumbs until she's ready.
Well, if you don't add anything, she'll be fine. I
Yeah.
mean, we can have it ready.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
we may just have to amend the agenda by adding that.
Are we gonna try to have a meeting
items.
before they leave to try to do
Well,
this
that's
budget?
That's what I'm about to get to. After we get finished with this agenda. So, just 17th, Monday the 17th at 4 p.m. Work session, council meeting following immediately.
Okay.
That cool? All right. Good deal. On the agenda for Wednesday, approve expenses for Karen to attend compliance work. That's CDBG compliance workshop in Orange Beach. No registration fee. Obviously, lodging, mileage, and meals will be incurred.
And that's mandatory.
Okay? And then accounts payable received to date for October. All right, any questions regarding this agenda for Wednesday? Okay, if not, let's move. Now, the mayor just handed us his proposed budget for fiscal year 15. Real quick, if you'll turn over to the very last page on the back, you'll see that currently, right now, the way it stands, we got a surplus of almost $5,000, $49.26. This budget includes, if you'll notice, this budget includes all step raises. It includes all approved positions. That's a part-time fire department and a promotion of 3 lieutenants to captain and an HR position and accounting clerk.
We put 1.5
I'm sorry,
part-times,
change
one and a half part-time firemen for each shift.
All right. That's the street department. This includes the street department tractor from the capital account that we approved last time, $33,500. Our match for the demolition grant over at East Highland, $250. Transfers for CDG projects. That is that's
Paving assessment,
that's right. That's the payment assessment. So that's in there, right?
yes.
All right. Auburn strategic plan. Somebody fill me in.
All right.
Did I
I
miss something?
talked, I met with, Joe Sumners from Auburn the other day. There's an ACE grant available, which is a real good grant. And I talked, we need to update our strategic plan, and we need a comprehensive plan.
Okay.
In talking to him, I kinda got the feeling, and he kinda said that if we would apply for this grant, and we were already working on the strategic plan, that we would have a real good shot at getting that grant to do the comprehensive, so. And, you know, we can get the strategic done for $10,000.
Okay.
So, if we can do that, there's a possibility we can get the strategic and the comprehensive for $10,000 if y'all wanna go that route. And I think there's a good chance that if we do spend the 10, I think we can get the comprehensive, I think we can get the ACE grant.
Okay. And would the ACE grant cover the comprehensive? Is that
ACE
what you're
grant,
saying?
that's what we will, that's what
Okay.
we're gonna ask for is for that to cover the comprehensive.
And are there matching? Is there?
There's no
is there
match.
matching?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I'm 99% sure there's no match
Okay.
on that.
Okay.
So,
All right. Okay, so that's included in the budget.
Yes.
The special master that we talked about just a few minutes ago is in there at 13.6. Airport match for grant. I think that's 46,000. Plus $3,000 a month for airport. 56,400. That's worked in there.
we put the rent we get for the hangars, let them get that, and then $3,000 a month, which is a total of $56,000 plus the 46,000 grant match, which is close to what we spent last year, I think.
It's very close to what we spent last year, just
Yeah.
on expenses, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there are no reductions. Everybody is level funded.
We level
as far
funded
as
all the appropriations.
Everybody is level funded in this projected budget.
And we did not put any, Chris, we're gonna probably have to buy a couple of police cars this year. We did not put any capital in there except the tractor, but there is still a little bit of money left in our capital fund.
Okay.
So,
All right. We can burn that bridge when we get there.
yeah,
Do you have a
And we-
number for that just by, like what?
3,500 for the cars that he requested.
and then
I think it was 20,600 something for the equipment, if memory serves.
I
Okay.
think it was 120,000, but
Roughly.
that's for 3 cars, so
Right.
we're not,
Yeah,
we
so
don't
we
necessarily
can,
have to buy
we can
3.
adjust it from there.
And also, we've had some additional requests that are not in here. The court has requested like $27,000 additional, that's not in there. The Civil Service Board has requested an additional $500 per month retainer for the Civil Service Board attorney. And there was a few
So
more things.
500 a month, an additional
Yes.
500 a month.
Yes.
There's
There-
the
there-
line that says requested, there's no totals on that because when the departments make requests, they don't include their personnel expenses and that sort of thing. We just sort of included that so y'all could reference
Okay.
what they requested for best case scenario versus what they're.
I got you.
And
I
we'll
didn't even see
we'll go
I'm
over that in
sorry.
more detail when we have the budget work session, if y'all want,
Yeah.
if you want to do that.
Okay, so moving on to that, what I would like for us to do now, last year, guys, that was our first one. You know, we went line by line. That's not efficient. So what I would like to do, I'd like to give everybody an opportunity to take this home, look over it, mark it up, do whatever you want to, and I would like to call a special meeting to just discuss this budget.
Special meeting or a special
Work
Work
session,
session.
I'm sorry, special work session.
Budget work session.
Basically, guys, it would be great if we could get this approved on the 17th at our next council meeting. That would be outstanding. So, because if, you know, either that or we'll have to call, this thing needs to be passed for November's up. I mean, it does. So, is there, we could meet this week. The only day I have open this week, unfortunately, is Thursday.
What time?
Well, that's something that we'll have to look at. And then we've got next week. I'm pretty much open Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday of next week. So, hopefully, I would like to think that we could get this knocked out, guys. If we take it all home, if we all take it home, look over it, mark it up, I would like to think that we could get this knocked out in one meeting.
And we'll be available if there's any questions, so.
Right.
And I'd like to personally thank Karen Bean. Karen has been a tremendous help. I mean, without her, I don't know, we couldn't have done it, but Karen kept going back and we'd be out of money and she'd find $1,000 here, $1,000 there, so.
I need to look at my checking account.
It doesn't work at home, I tried.
Oh.
This is done the same way as last year. I mean, it wouldn't balance if we were not putting away the money that we normally would for our debt structure. So look at that, knowing that there's $600,000 that we're taking out of savings, that there's gotta go back in next year.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate enough to be able to defer it away last year, even though we didn't budget it.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad year. 14 wasn't bad.
This budget was a little easier than last year. I think we're coming out of some of the hole that we got into right before you guys came on, so.
Yeah.
The one you voted for?
Not the one I did not vote for. The one I did not vote for, but this one was a little easier.
Y'all throw some dates at me, guys.
That's Monday and Thursday next week.
Okay, so this week's out, I guess.
I'll be out of town Thursday.
What about Monday?
Yeah.
Monday would be, I think, would be good in case we did have to call another one.
Is that the 10th?
That's the 10th.
Would everybody be available Monday and Thursday next week?
I am.
In case we have to do both, which I think we will.
You think we will?
I'll be gone Thursday, but
She's got that CDBG.
Well, it'll be all right.
10th and the 13th.
And Trish will be
Yeah.
here.
They can do
Yeah.
that.
You put
Um,
your numbers in.
Let's, now the 10th, and this doesn't mean y'all can't start, y'all could go ahead and start without me, but the 10th, I'm not gonna be available till 5.
That sounds good.
Is 5 okay? Alright, so Kim, let's,
At 5 p.m.
yeah, let's just schedule the 10th right now. If we see on the 10th that we need to schedule Thursday, that's fine, that's plenty of time. So we'll do that at that time.
I'll go ahead and send out a notice.
Okay, thank you.
it'd be really helpful if y'all do have questions, that if you go ahead and give us a heads up. Cause I mean, some things may require research and
Yeah.
that'll facilitate the meeting.
Just
more
shoot her an
faster.
email. If you got a question,
Yeah.
you know, as they come to mind, just email Karen. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
And this budget is closed, so we're gonna really have to watch what we spend that's not budgeted. And,
Okay.
you know, we're gonna ask people, we're gonna ask everybody to really watch their travel expenses closely and you know, just cut out all the unnecessary things, so.
And guys, you can take this with a grain of salt if you want to, but like I said, last year, you know, we went through each department, you know, police department, fire department, street, we went through each department, line by line by line. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but personally, I think as far as departments go, I think that should really be between the department heads and the mayor. I mean, in essence, the mayor's kind of the CEO of the city. I mean, that's, you know, it's his to run. Now, appropriations, that's us. You know, but I would prefer not to get real involved in these in the departmental budgets, simply because, like I said, I mean, you know, the mayor's met with every department head regarding these, you know, regarding these budgets, and that this is what he's come up with.
And there's not a whole lot for the departments to play with. I mean,
That's right.
It's pretty close now.
So, I mean, if we have specific questions regarding the departments, I mean, that's fine. But as far as sitting here going line by line through each department, that's not efficient. So I don't think that's how we're gonna do it this year. So, let's just try to maybe kind of keep that in mind. Like I said, that's just my personal thoughts.
Did cut the check
Um,
30%.
But,
That's not what you said.
with that being said,
I wrote down.
Just decided I'm gonna do that.
y'all, we good? Everybody good? All right, see you